Amir, Mustafa. I mean, I love this brother. This brother's passionate about what he has to say to us and what the information he got. I know it's pertinent. I know it's pertinent, and I'm just here to definitely suck it all up. And I hope that we can all benefit from what the brother got to say. Amir Mustafa, a soldier for a long time, and I wish I could know other accolades, but I just know him to be a passionate brother that's on his dean and just excited about educating us and lifting our consciousness, man. Our consciousness about what's going on and what's happening. And so with that, I'm going to bring on Amir Mustafa. That's what I'm like.
Flip slide. Flip slide.
I'm glad to be here, inshallah. I ain't going to be too long. I want to try and keep this concise as possible. Basically, what I want to talk to you today about is commerce in the United States of America. First thing I want to mention about commerce is Deen al-Haq, Deen al-Illah, Deen al-Islam, that's commerce. It's based on your muamalat, your transactions between you and your Lord, your transactions between you and your family, your community, and so on and so forth, right? Now, we understand a term that's called taghut. And taghut is the false deity that sets itself up in the form of Allah in some kind of form or fashion. And taghut wants to basically intercede on your commercial affairs between you and Allah. So this country, the United States of America, was started as a corporation. It was a joint stock corporation from the 1600s or something like that when it was first established, and it was between the Queen of England and the Vatican. So those people have always had an interest in the affairs of this country. I want to say that the United States sovereignty only lasted maybe 2 years, and after that they went into what's called bankruptcy under international law because they owed other countries money. Money at that time was gold and silver. When the Constitution was established, it says in the Constitution that gold and silver shall be the currency in the United States. We know we don't use gold and silver. We know in Islam, gold and silver is the lawful currency. So we know we outlaws, basically. The United States has constructed it in such a way as to prohibit you from even using gold and silver in your daily commercial affairs, okay? So what I've been researching is basically how that was done, why it was done, and where we at with it today. How do we operate in it, and how do we get out of it if we want to? That should be the goal and end objective of everybody here, inshallah. A lot of brothers who have come across this information have ran off with it and they chased the dunya and, you know, and the flash and the money, because you can get it. But at the same time, my program is about getting it and getting out and taking what you got out with you to fund your family, your estate, to have an inheritance for your children, to uplift your community, because everything that they're doing in our name right now. So basically, I was showing the brother earlier, when a child is born in this country, first of all, I don't want to go to that. I want to tell you that the United States was bankrupt, and every 20 years under international law is a moratorium. It lasts 20 years. So if you go back from like maybe 1790 and count 20 years, 20 years, 20 years, you get to like the Civil War. Okay, and then you got 20 years, and you get to like 1913. And that's when the Federal Reserve was established. The Federal Reserve system was established in 1913 because it is a system. There is no money in circulation. They knew what they were going to do. They knew where they were going to take all the people's gold and silver from them because they needed it to pay off their creditors. So when the system was established, it was established to operate between banks. This is the introduction to private banking. I got a couple of copies of this. I'm going to pass it around. Everybody who has a title U.S. citizen is a banker. For a long time, I struggled with this concept because U.S. citizen was originally presented to me as, okay, that's the slave title, yada, yada, yada. And basically it is if you live your life like a debtor. If you live your life like I owe them, every time they say you owe them something, that's what you're going to be. However, it's provided within their law that if you are a U.S. citizen, you are a contracting agent for the United States government. That means you can go out like any other person, establish your corporation, or you can do it in your corporate fiction name that you already got, and you can acquire property. you can basically do anything. You can pay off your debts. You can do all that. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get to all that periodically. But I want you to understand, kind of like the concept of being a banker. Every time I go into somebody and I say, brother, you got such and such, and I want to buy and sell from you, that's banking, brother. And if I'm using Federal Reserve notes, because Federal Reserve notes are for banks, then I am a banker. So I have to mature into become financially responsible how to be a banker. I'm not an accountant, I never studied accounting, but we've got brothers who do. And what's happened is there's a two-sided accounting going on. It's your private side, your public side. Your private side is your name as it is properly spelled. Y'all can pass these back, inshallah. Got a few more copies. As it's properly spelled the way we taught in grammar school. Uppercase letter, lowercase, last name uppercase, then lowercase, right? When you look at everything that you do with the government, it's not in upper and lower case, it's usually in all caps. Okay? That's called your legal fiction. That's your entity. That's your straw man. That is the entity that the government is dealing with. That's the entity that the courts is dealing with. That's the entity that the banks is dealing with. That's the entity that the schools is dealing with. That's the entity that Walmart's dealing with. That's the entity that the phone company's dealing with. The water company's dealing with. They don't see you. They don't see you. You're private. Yeah, I only got a couple more copies. But this one right here, it talks about the contracting agencies. Your straw man is a contracting agency. Y'all just pass them around, a contracting agent for the government. So, whether you like it or not, they doing business in your name. You get a ticket, someone's bidding on you, gonna default on that ticket, you ain't gonna pay it, and then they circulate that on the stock exchange. People in Korea and all around the world was bidding on you. So we still the slaves, but we have action that become we should call it capture the straw man. Put a rope around his neck, and then you can guide him and make him do what you want to do. So that all capital letter entity, you have to learn how to control it, how to navigate him on the waters, because these are the seas of commerce. These things out here that's driving, they call them vessels. Vessel mean that's a commercial phrase. That means it's traveling with some kind of goods, some type of cargo, and it's some type of commercial endeavor. However, that's a trespass on your right to travel. In the Quran, and the Bible, and the Constitution, your right to travel, that means they can't stop you or nothing. They have to actually see something going on to pull you over. But we done surrendered those rights because we never learned how to live free. So this is basically about learning how to be free. It's about learning how to be financially responsible in a corporate venue. It's about knowing how not to go to jail. It's about knowing how not to die in debt. It's about how to secure your estate for your offspring. You know what I'm saying? It's about how to get Uncle Sam out of your marriage contract, out of all your contracts. We don't know how to contract. 13th Amendment freed the slave, right? But also it's a provision in the 13th Amendment saying you got the right to contract freely. So right after we became free, somebody came along and said, hey, you want to be a U.S. citizen? We accepted that term. We didn't know fully what it was, but we've been operating as U.S. citizens like we still property of the government because we haven't grown into an identity. We haven't grown into a civic government-minded identity when you can establish a local community. I got a book on how to establish currency in the local community. You can take 25 people. Everybody got a birth certificate. I showed the brothers the birth certificate earlier. Say right there, very, 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 very small print. Very, very, very small print. If you got good eyes, inshallah. Right there in the corner. Very small print, brothers. Very small print in the corner. That's how clandestine they move. Do you read that?
It doesn't say.
Blank note,
That's close. Ain't no L in that.
Van note?
Bank note.
Bank note.
And then it say CTF something something.
Civics, bank notes, CFC International.
CFC International. So you are international commodity. That's what you are to them. But you got to understand, this is the private side. When you attach yourself to this is the currency that funds everything that the United States does, because ain't no gold and silver moving nothing. This thing right here, when you're born, they hypothecate. They say, oh, this is 640,000. Used to be like in the 60s. Now they say it's like up to 2 million or something like that. That's just on the front. You got 10 social security numbers. You only using one. If you ever lost one, you go get another one. Okay, they give you another one. You got 9 more. You got 8 more. Those social are accounts, and they are direct treasury accounts, and it's up to, I think, like 3.5 billion that they operate with on the surface. But behind that, it's like 350 billion. They are, it's called fractionalized banking, brother. You see what I'm saying? And so every time, anything they do, you only getting the crumbs. When they write a law in this country, what is it called? Anybody know? Congress just passed a new what?
Amendment?
No.
Bill.
A bill. A bill. What's a bill? I don't like getting bills in the mail, you? That means you owe something, right? So when Congress passes a bill, or the legislature passes a bill, it's what's called in that bill is got statutes. Statute staples are bonds. Okay? When they pass that bill, that means somebody got to pay it. Who gonna pay it? Whether it's the Disability Act or whatever it might be, they pass the bill, but they tapping into your social security number, your direct treasury account, and they fund the bill with you. That's how they fund it. If you vote in this country, that's why I ain't voted in there. I ain't never voted. I didn't vote before I even was old enough to vote. I had already developed the philosophy against voting because of my dad. But once I understood that when you vote, that's a monetary process. They take that, they bolster their economy with your vote. They also, if you in any kind of disagreement with their policies, you don't vote. You don't vote. You protest the vote. You keep your vote. That's your, man, anytime you put your signature on something, it's at least $1 million. At least $1 million.
It's real.
And I'm not playing, brother. You know what I'm saying? This is, you can think it's a joke, run it off if you want to, but you're going to be the one that's still living in debt. You see what I'm saying? So, only thing I'm trying to provide to you is 8 years of my study. You see what I'm saying? Because my grandmother was a judge. And she sent me in certain directions, gave me certain little insights that, you know, common people don't have, right? So, if we get on a program to educate ourselves to where we can basically, inshallah, become the private bankers that we're supposed to be, you can collapse your Social Security account. You can collapse it, meaning take it out of their circulation, they can't use it no more, and you got all the assets. But when you do that, what you gonna do with it? You got to have something set up already. You got to already have your foundation in place. You got to have your corporation or your charitable organization or whatever, because you're gonna funnel them funds through something to do something else. You don't want to be running around with, you know, that in your little bank account. You know what I'm saying? And then they're gonna block you. They use block grants to keep you from accessing your credit. Anyway, this is, I want you to have that shake, and I've got a couple more copies. But this is about how to become a private banker. First thing you got to do is understand the terms that they use, the definition of the terms that they use. Everything they do, when they use the term, you think it means one thing, it means something else. You look at a law book, and I guarantee you open it up and it say any person found guilty of doing something, is guilty of going whatever the penalty might be. Did it say man? Did it say woman? It said any person. Now, do you meet the qualifications of a person? Has a legal definition. You may not be, depending on how you operate. Me, when I go into the court, I'm not a person. I go into the court as a man that's inside. That's why I go into court. And I go into the court and I stand in my own lawful capacity. I won't use an attorney, because an attorney, his duty is to take my rights and give them to the king. That's where they come from, the king's court. An attorney engages you in a tournament, a law, and passes your rights to the king. So the king being the court, you can't win like that. You can't win like that. Plus, he finna sign them bonds and get the money that's supposed to be released to you. You're supposed to go into court and say, I demand release of the bid bond, payment bond, performance bond immediately. I'm the contracting agent. I'm here to do my settlement and closure of the account. You know, you got to talk like a banker. It's not penal code such and such and such, and I refer to the legal brief on. No, that's the BS that they want you to go that route. So you can be in dishonor, because their banking is about honor and dishonor. Their whole process is about honor and dishonor, right? The bank's job is to pay on demand. You go in there, you got an account with them, and you say, I have an instrument I received from whatever, you know what I'm saying? They owe me that. They supposed to pay you on demand. They ain't supposed to be no scrutiny, identity theft. When it's this instrument, looking at it, they ain't supposed to be that. That's when they blocking you, okay? So, Brother Harun, the definition of a deposit is something owed. If you have a deposit account, whatever's in it is what you owe. It's not what you have, it's what you owe, okay? So what they do is say, we're going to credit him what he's saying he's demanding, because what? He's the credit anyway. You the credit anyway. You the money anyway. You the funder anyway. I just showed you the bank, the birth certificates, don't forget that. Everything that you put your signature on is going right back to this. You see what I'm saying? So if you really want to change the conditions, inshallah, this is what you need to be on. Seriously, and I'm not talking about, we all know we dealing, but I'm saying, can we go build some new facilities? You know what I'm saying? Can we build some real madrasas? Can we get some daycare centers? Can we establish our own banks? Can we build our own development companies and things like they doing? Can we do that? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. But you got to start doing it. You got to start investigating something outside of the box. For example, this is called a release of personal property from escrow. Anybody had something in escrow before? Anybody got something that's been a lien associated with it? This is how you release it. Okay, whether it's a house, car, whatever. That's how you release it. These are government forms. These government forms are printed by GSA. GSA is under FAR. FAR is under who? Comptroller of the Currency. So, when the government goes to acquire a property, it's all about acquisitions and abandonments. If you ever look at tax documents, acquisition and abandonment, that's all it is. You go get a property, you acquire the property, you do the appropriate tax form. I just acquired that, I'm not abandoning it. Because if you abandon it, somebody else gonna come get it. So when you learn what they're doing, then you just start mirroring them. You're already a contracting agent, whether you like it or not. So use what they have already established. That's what it's for, really. This Republican form of government means the government is, you're private, they're public. They ain't supposed to come talking to you, and they know they can't talk to you, so they don't talk to you. That's why you need the attorney. That's why they say, if you can't have it for one, we're going to get one for you. Don't even trip. We're going to hook you right on up. Because we don't want you saying nothing up in here. We want him to transfer your rights to us. And you don't know what to say anyway. Anyway, this right here is called Affidavit of Individual Surety. Okay? This Affidavit of Individual Surety in the language is telling you that you're saying, I'm letting you know that I know where the money's at. I'm letting you know that I know that I'm the money. I'm standing up as the principal, right, in this transaction. This is my bonds back in the transaction. You see what I'm saying? This is the only thing they're doing. Anytime you got a court case, they fill out these same bonds, SL24, SL25, SL25 back. They ain't gonna tell you that. You see what I'm saying? Because they want you to come in there and default. They want you to go in there and dishonor, start arguing about this and arguing about that in jurisdiction. They didn't put me over lawfully, and now they're gonna look at you like you belligerent. They're gonna look at you like you're mentally incompetent. That's why they say you're a ward of the court. And if you got an attorney, you're a ward of the court. You're mentally incompetent. First off, it's not even like I say, Every case in the court is a civil suit. Whether it's a criminal on the front, it's a civil suit. It's a monetary issue. It is a penal sum that they're trying to get you to pay, and you won't pay it. The penal sum is on the private side. Back to the bond, okay? The public side is when you answering the charge. But who's answering the charge? Are you answering the charge? Who's being charged? I just told you the all capital letter is being charged. That's the corporation, right? That's the surety. They want you to stand in. You got to come in as the authorized representative to settle that account, because that corporation can't talk. But if you come in there and don't know what to do, they're going to say, okay, we're going to gaffle you because you are the collateral that we're going to discharge the debt with. We're going to take you into custody and discharge the debt. And that's the only thing that's happening in the court cases. So, inshallah, that's just like a briefing, you know, crash course. We got to become bankers. We got to, you know, do something where we can come together in a project. If this brother got a birth certificate, you got one, you got. How much money is in this room right now? There's nothing we couldn't go acquire if we knew what to do. Without brokers, we ain't got nothing in our pocket. But if you know what to do, what to file, we can start moving, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Let's file.
So, you know, the brothers who want to start moving in that capacity, I'm available. I mean, I'm on this 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I work for myself. I don't, yes.
You set it up to file with the Secretary of State?
Absolutely. What, the UCC financial statement? Absolutely. I have my UCC financial statement filed. You know, I'm trying to get to do my letter of credit and all that, and you know what I'm saying? But I stopped all that because I went back to school for a little while. You know what I'm saying? This stuff, like I say, you understand a little bit of it initially, and then, you know, you come back to it and, you know, you understand more. And then you go look back, I might look at a movie and see, man, that's what they're talking about right there. Like public and private was boggling me for the longest, because I understand when you go to court that the court's trying to get you to be the surety. They're trying to get you to be the surety. They're trying to get you to be the surety. Your corporation is the surety. If your corporation is the surety and you try not to be the surety, who are you? Well, I'm the creditor, but you know, okay, but that's not necessarily the principal. You're the principal. You're the principal in anything. Now, they got a thing called the Los Angeles Unified School District. Every school got a principal. How many kids is in them schools with birth certificates? He's a banker. How you think they funding this stuff? Ain't no money. You see what I'm saying? So certain things start clicking. Okay, he the principal. That's why he the principal. He get to sign off on the bond. He got power of attorney over all your kids. He can send your kid to the psych ward. He can send your kid wherever you can't. Yeah, they got a thing called parents patriae. Parents patriae. The doctrine of parents patriae means all rights of the parent are derived from the rights of the state. So that's why they come take your kids in the Department of Children's Services, and that's why they can make you pay child support and all that, because they got you hooked up in this adhesion contracts. But that doctrine is what they can come, give up them kids. Give us your kids right now. You see what I'm saying? Because they already got it written. It's already on the books. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things we got to start rebutting. You know, some things we got to rebut.
We have a question back here.
Mustafa, baby, you got a question back here.
Yes, sir.
One of the brothers had acquired some of the information, and I had the privilege of listening to some of the CDs. I think it's like a set, like the kindergarten and all that stuff. That whole set.
I got that.
Is that advisable to start going through?
Absolutely. Like I told the brother a week or so ago, I had a thing called kindergarten through 12th grade. Kindergarten through 12th grade. Brother, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
And really like anything that's not in all lowercase, it's not real. You see what I'm saying? It tells you stuff about this whole, the whole land mass is called the county at large. County at large is what we should declare what's what we live on. We live on the county at large. We don't live in the city of Los Angeles because that's a commercial venue. That's how you gotta pay all the little, whatever they say you gotta pay. You know what I mean? So it's all kind of stuff that we gotta do, brother. You know what I'm saying? To really get to freedom. But it's little steps along the way. But yeah, I got that. I can provide for everybody who want a copy of that. Anybody got a thumb drive, I can give them a copy of that kindergarten through 12th grade.
Maybe outline those steps that you're talking about next week.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So every Sunday you coming, right?
We can do it every Sunday, and we can start doing it during the week too if y'all want to.
Oh, bro. Inshallah, we work on it.
Yes,
quick
sir.
question, I'm like, just after our Kyron, you know, this is definitely it's a lot involved in this, but I had a quick question. Okay, it seems to me that to be involved on this level, we need some level of, or some form of independence or sovereignty. Right. So my question to you is, what's the relationship to this to identity and self-determination?
Okay, first off, your straw man ain't your identity. That's not who you are. That's the shadow of you. That's like your shadow on the ground. You see what I'm saying? That's what the straw man is. What I'm talking about right now is a little different than political sovereignty. There's financial sovereignty, you know, but they go together. They go together. We don't need that to start what we're doing, but where we're going, you definitely want to associate yourself with a body politic, and I know that's where you're going, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So,
okay.
so they one-on-one. They go together, but it's not like you need any, because in this Republican form of government, each individual is a sovereign, right? That's what you are. You're supposed to establish yourself as the sovereign. Now, when we come together collectively, we can look at somebody else who can represent us on an international level or something like that. But we gotta band together and assemble first. Okay. We have to.
So at this stage, we
ain't declared nothing.
Okay.
We ain't said nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? And we come with an assembly and say we are the nation of whatever we say we are. That's who you become from that day forward, and that's how you can build your relationships with people. You see, around the world, you know, or with this government, or with the local county government, or with the city government. You see what I'm saying? But we already know we're a nation of people. You know what I'm saying? We already know we're a nation of people. We got to learn how to, we need to create an assembly. Can we do that? Can we create an assembly of 25 people to represent the Southern California region? Marriage list. That's what it is. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. But see, that assembly has the power to say, we're going to issue an indictment when somebody transgresses up on our people. We're going to write up an affidavit of probable cause, you see what I'm saying, that we can pull any sheriff, police, judge, or went into the courtroom and answer the grand jury indictment. That's the way grand juries are supposed to operate, but they took the grand jury process out and came with this declaration of information so they can so they can get you into the venue of the legal fiction, the fraud, the argument between attorneys. You know what I'm saying? You know, really, there shouldn't be no argument once I put it on paper. I don't want to talk. You can put yours on paper and I can read it and I can rebut on paper. All that oral, that's where you get lost. That's their job, is to talk in legalese and confuse you. But as far as back to what you saying, brother, the political sovereignty definitely comes into play, and that's where we want to go with it ultimately. Get the liquidity, we can get us a land compound or something where we can assemble as one, you know, one collective or something like that. But right now we living on the corporate reservation. You know what I mean? You know, so it's kind of hard to represent like that, inshallah. And then everybody got different schedules and divergent ways that they're going and stuff like that. If we get to the Islamic village stage, we got to have some land to do that. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, one thing at a time, inshallah.
I was just wondering, brother, so, because I don't fully understand, I'm not going to play like I do.
Of course not.
everybody in the United States with a birth certificate, regardless of their race, is a slave?
Yes. In that, until you capture that straw man and become the contracting agent that you're supposed to be and start operating the way we're supposed to operate. You know, that, like I say, if you're an agent of the government, that straw man is an agent of the government. This is how the government assumes title over everything you go get. You go buy something, car, put in that name, okay, government own it. Go get a house, put in that name, government own it. Why? Because they created the all capital letter fiction. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna finish.
They created that.
And here's what I'm saying. Now, I understand that. Now, I would ask you, bro, what have you done with it, like? Because, you know, I hear you saying, it sounds like you trying to tell me you gonna force these people to not recognize what they're trying to do. In other words, if I declare this here aggressive, all of a sudden, you know, I'm not no longer a victim of this here.
Well, this is the way I'm gonna say it. I would never sit before anybody and tell you what they gonna do. I can tell you what the law says in the black letter of the law and how you supposed to operate, and you have to make them acknowledge you. You have to, however thorough you are on paper, that's how they gonna get back at you. You see what I'm saying? You know, and like I say, it ain't about oral argument with these people. Go ahead.
We have a term that I use in my business, that documentation these conversations all day long. But I was just saying that you said we have to capture our straw man and become
the representative, the authorized representative for that straw man.
Contract, you said something about contract?
Contracted agent.
Contracted
Straw
agent.
man that is the contracted agent.
So my question is, have you captured your
Yes,
straw
I
man
have.
and you've been operating like that?
I have.
Yeah, that's how that was my
Yes,
question.
I have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, they.
We have about 5 more minutes before the salon. We're calling the Adhan now, please. So please wrap your questions up.
I have a degree where you go out in business. I understand a lot of what you're saying is true. It's like what you're really trying to tell us is the first thing is tonight, what we should do, inshallah, is get a copy of our birth certificate.
Everybody should have that.
Everybody should, I mean, but a lot of us don't. And what I'm giving you, that's the first thing I'm gonna go do is get that and then study that. Yeah, and I got that. But I mean, study that because my birth certificate is not in my Muslim name.
It don't have to be.
Okay, but so now I'm gonna get that.
1 minute. We're gonna close this out with a quick dua, and then y'all can continue y'all conversation. So this is a quick way of closing out the dua. For Allah Ta'ala to seal any good, take away any evil, and forgive us for our sins. This is the dua of the Prophet Sallallahu Subhanahu wa bihamdihi, Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Amin.